Welcome to a new episode of Dooley Does Food. And I'm your host, Dooley Noted. Welcome back. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year. I can't believe we made it through 2021. These last few years have been a blur. 2022 is right there on the horizon. I really just hope 2020 get up in here like you got some sense, because don't be coming in here touching stuff. You ain't got no money, so go ahead and sit there and act like you got some sense while we figure out our ish, right? All right, y'all. I'm gonna keep this intro real short, the front intro and the back intro. I want to make sure that I can edit this video swiftly and get it to you all before New Year's Eve, because as tradition dictates, Black people gotta make Black Eyed Peas for the new year. So buckle up, that's what we're doing today. And as always, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I will see y'all in 2022 with more content, and thank y'all for being here. Peace out. All right, so first things first, I'm the realist. No, I'm kidding. All right, so we gotta soak our beans. You got two options here. If you have the time, I really encourage y'all to go ahead and do this prep overnight. It'll ensure that our beans are super tender and you can just kind of get started. Rinse and sort your peas in a large pot. I used a pound, that's 16 ounces, roughly 2 cups. Add in 6 to 8 cups of cold water, and you're just gonna let it sit overnight. If you don't have overnight, you can also let it sit 6 to 8 hours. Alternatively, if you don't have time, you can do what's known as a quick soak. Go ahead and rinse and sort your peas in a large pot. You're going to add in about 7 cups of hot water. Put it in a pot or a Dutch oven and bring it to a rapid boil. You want to see them bubbles bubbling up off the ground like Pompeii. Once you bring it to a boil, let it sit there for about 3 or 4 minutes. Then you're going to turn the heat off. Keep your peas covered for about an hour. I would say if you can do 90 minutes. From there, your peas should be tender and willing to accept the cooking that we're gonna do up next. Soak them again, rinse them off, take out any of the little dead floaty pieces, and then you can go ahead and get started with your prep. Here I have all of my little aromatics and garnishes. I have 3 cloves of garlic, 2 stalks of celery, the yield of 1 medium onion. I encourage you to use either a sweet Vidalia onion or a white onion. And then here I have, I believe I did 2 bell peppers because I like a little extra bell pepper, but 1 is enough. And once again, feel free to tweak this to your liking. Some folks like a more hearty ragu style beans, and some folks just want their meat and their beans. So make it work for you. All right, next up, we're gonna use a method called blooming. I think I talked about blooming in another video. I can't remember which one it is. I'll have to go back and check it out. But blooming is toasting your spices over heat and hot oil. So I have about 1 tablespoon of olive oil and 1 tablespoon of non-salted butter. Y'all be careful about your salt levels here. We don't want to end up like Big Mama.
We're gonna pause this for the benefit of all y'all who never saw Soul Food. Soul Food is a movie about a big, humongous black grandmother, aptly named Big Mama. Big Mama demonstrates her love by feeding herself and her offspring enormous amounts of pig lard. Then, get this, Big Mama's arteries are so clogged, they gotta amputate her arm.
It was her leg!
Right, okay, whatever, leg. Then, she dies of a heart attack. Or another stroke, or something.
God called her home.
And what does the family do after she dies? They get together for a Sunday dinner and eat the same food that just killed Big Mama. The same food! They didn't learn a lesson. Nobody went on a diet, and that's the end of the movie.
I really ain't got no sense, y'all. Y'all know what it is. Put in your oil, let it melt, let it percolate. Then I'm gonna go ahead and add in my spice blend. This is what I used. 1 tablespoon of onion powder, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of Slap Your Mama Cajun seasoning, a half a tablespoon of ground mustard, a half a tablespoon of black pepper, a half a tablespoon of smoked paprika, a 1/4 tablespoon of basil and thyme, a 1/4 tablespoon of cayenne pepper, and then 2 dry bay leaves. Toast everything until everything is bright, aromatic. Your kitchen is gonna smell like heaven. And then we're gonna move on to the next step. Keep an eye on this, y'all. You do not want to burn your spices. If you do, everything will taste burnt and or bitter. So keep an eye on this. Do not walk away. Now that our spices are bloomed, we can go ahead and sweat our veggies and brown our seasoning meats. Now, depending on where you are in the country and or what your palate is like, you might use, a hog maw. You might use some pig's feet for your black eyed peas. We don't do that around here. We don't embrace slavery and slave meats over here in this Caucasian household. I prefer to use smoked turkey. I think it works better and it won't kill you. So go ahead and add in those aromatics and those veggies that you chopped up previously. Go ahead and drop them in your pot. And then you're gonna go ahead and put in your seasoning meats. You just wanna keep them in there long enough to get some color. Remember, we're gonna slow cook this dish. And so it'll cook over time. Once your smoked turkey has some brownness and your veggies are translucent, we're gonna go ahead and add in our broth. Now, you can use a bouillon, you can use some Better Than Bouillon paste, you can use some actual regular chicken stock. In total, you will need about 2 cups of broth. And then from there, you'll add water to cover the totality of what you have in your pot. Now it's time to add in your dried beans. Give everything a stir, mix, 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 mix. And then we're gonna go ahead and just bring this to a boil. Bring it to a boil over medium heat. Remember, this is a slow cook. It could be medium, low. We don't want to overdo it too quickly. And then we're just gonna go ahead and let our beans cook. I did 16 ounces of beans. It took about an hour to an hour and a half to get my beans to where I needed them to go. Keep an eye on them. You may need to add a little bit more water along the way. As your dish cooks, you'll notice that the water level in the pot will decrease, and that's because your beans are absorbing all that good moisture to make them swell. At some point during the duration of your cooking, make sure that you taste. You can also use that time to adjust your spice level to your liking. You'll know your black eyed peas are done when they're tender, your beans look really creamy, and then meat is falling off the bone. That's when you know when your black eyed peas are done. Remove any bones, remove your bay leaves, you don't want to eat that. Give it a stir, make sure everything's integrated. And then once you let this cool, it's ready to serve. And then you got black eyed peas.